My name's John Bullock, and this is my wife, Kristie. We've been married, it'll be 2 years this June. We've been dating for a few years before that.
I actually moved here from Washington in 2013. Met somebody at soccer practice, a friend of mine who introduced me to this church, and we started going that fall. We were both raised Presbyterian, actually, and back in Central Washington. I grew up in the Presbyterian church, and then once I got married and moved out on my own, I was in a Methodist kind of a church, kind of non-denominational, but and then when we moved here, we just came right here.
Yeah, and I grew up in outside of Dallas, and so, but we were like 20 miles from town, and so every Sunday was my opportunity to go to town, so to speak. But yeah, growing up on a farm, it was just hard with Sundays. You know, that was a big day to work on the farm for us. So church was kind of hit and miss depending on, you know, whether we were calving or whatever. When I was still working as a firefighter, it was like I had to work every third Sunday and then, you know, every third Saturday. So by the time I got off work Sunday, sometimes it was just I was too tired or, you know, too many excuses.
When we started coming, my kids were pretty little, and both of my older kids were in soccer and other sports, and so sometimes they're on a Sunday, and we were just kind of in that stage of life where we hadn't prioritized going to church completely yet, and so we found ourselves on any given Sunday either at the soccer field or at home trying to decide if we wanted to watch football or go to church. And so we were pretty off and on, and then my husband passed away in a car accident, and I think there was just a time in my life where something like that happens and you don't really have anything else to rely on but God. And fortunately for me, even though it was a bad situation, I think the biggest growth for me spiritually happened during that time, and that was just my lifeline. And so the kids and I went pretty regularly after that, and then that quickly just became our, you know, more so of our community than it ever was, just because I relied on those people and they showed up for us all the time.
For sure, when I met Kristie, like it was, I felt like I needed that, and I needed to be the spiritual leader of the relationship and the family. The first day I walked through the front doors of Silver Creek Fellowship, immediately I felt at home. Everybody that I met from day one just welcomed me, and it's like I had been there for 5 years. Like we just became family.
I will be very honest, for the first 10 years I've gone here, I didn't go to small group because I had about a zillion reasons not to. And so when we got married and we bought this house, I said to John, like, well, we could have it here because then we don't have an excuse not to go because people are coming to our house. And you know, half joking but half serious, I needed some accountability in that area, and so we decided to have it here. And we actually prayed for part of that when we bought this house. Like, if we're gonna get this house, like, we want to use it to be a blessing to God and our church. And so we've had small group here, and that's, I think, really changed the community aspect of how the church has affected me. So now that's our family.
I think for me, bouncing around from church to church was hard. I would find a church, and then there was just never any family aspect. The beautiful thing about Silver Creek Fellowship for me is you can't pick your family, but I really feel like God picked this family for me. Just the growth I made in such a short period of time of just being a regular attendee and faithful about tithing and faithful about just the church and the family. Like, I get so excited to see everybody on every Sunday.
When I first started going here, I didn't really fill them out that much, the prayer cards on Sunday morning. But my husband at the time did, and he would write things like, I pray for my financial blessings for my family. And at that time, we were really struggling. Reagan had leukemia, so we had a ton of bills, and we were really bad off financially for quite some time. And then when he passed away, I just remember very vividly all of these financial blessings afterwards that came. And, you know, in the midst of going through that grief, I didn't think about that too much, but looking back now, I firmly believe that a lot of that is because he prayed for it, and all of the church members that meet, I know that they were praying for all the things that he wrote. The kids and I can't even explain to you how many blessings we've had along the way. I write on them all the time because I just believe and have seen the power of prayer. You know, that's something I've been praying about for a lot of time, is that my kids would put God first, and that's something I can talk to them about, but I can't make that decision for them. And honestly, I struggled quite a while with, do you make your kids go to youth group, or is that a punishment for them? Or do, I just want them to go. I asked him to go one time, and he's been hooked ever since. And I'm just that's an answered prayer for sure, because he didn't grow up going to Sunday school as a kid because we were in and out of the hospital, and then we were inconsistent in our attendance, and so it wasn't until recently he's been going consistently, and it's on his own. Like I don't have to force him. I don't have to even ask him. It's something that he enjoys, and I don't know that he has gotten to the point yet where he's made that wholehearted commitment to follow Jesus with all of his heart yet, but I firmly believe that the seeds are being planted there, in addition to whatever we do at home, and I'm super thankful for that.
And I just feel like there's so many new people coming to church that's one reason I don't want to miss a Sunday, is I'm going to miss an opportunity to meet somebody new and amazing. So I look around me and it's just all walks of life, and we only have one thing in common, and that's our love for God. So it's been a blessing. So.